Ready for the show?
We are now live with Alba, the most requested guest on this show. Yeah.
The valuations are like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Some companies, yes, but just very few. They're gonna go off.
But you can't tell which one.
That was interesting. One more time.
Hold me close and hold me fast. This magic's
Nothing wrong to own a property if you take any money out. Because usually you have 10% chances of winning.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Unless you are long term.
Listen, this guy is not a financial advisor. Do not take financial advice from a guy on an internet.
20% already.
Look at him. What the fuck? Where did he steal that microphone from?
Not for another month, for sure. So it's gonna be, you can run through September. Yeah, it's too much money on the market. Exactly. So that's why you can probably run September for sure. October, November, that would be nice. Because the tempering doesn't have any effect for another 2 months. So you say September, the last full run. Because this is gonna be fun. I have this announcement to make, and then we begin the show. It's gonna be the final full run. I wish it's gonna go down to 27. I'm gonna load the board.
That was good. I liked it. Welcome back. Live. Right here with Mel Gibson, man. Have you ever listened to Mel Gibson tapes? I'm a big fan. Mel, I just want to tell you I'm a big fan, man. Big fan of Mel Gibson. So, I don't want to bash him, but it was just a period of his life and I was laughing. And then it came the period in my life when with my marriage, when it got fucked up. So then I said, look, bro, you remember you were online on 2009 or something like that, and you were making fun of Mel Gibson, and now you're in the same fucking situation. You should put yourself in the other person's shoes before you make fun of them. You don't make fun of Mel Gibson. Okay? So, I just wanted to show respect to Mel. I mean, I'm here because we're talking about him. We're gonna get back to this chick in a second, Natalie Brunel. She's very important. We have a busy show tonight. It's gonna be short because I didn't come here to spend a lot of time, but it's gonna be concise. We're gonna stay to the point. We're not gonna fucking listen to music, Eminem, crypto, maybe a little bit, because that's the song for Bitcoin to $150,000 per just one Bitcoin, just one little tiny Bitcoin. It's gonna be $150,000 in 2022. Can you imagine how much one Bitcoin is gonna be in 2024? I know, because I've been to the future and I came back. $1 million for one Bitcoin. Where were we? We said we're gonna come back to Natalie, and we were getting ready to listen to Mel Gibson. I think his wife was Oksana, man. Tapes. Mel Gibson, Oksana. Tape. I don't know if they're available. Maybe they're not available anymore. Oh, here.
It is getting seemingly worse every day for Mel Gibson. There's another audio recording which has now been made public, reportedly of him and his former girlfriend, and it is filled with threats of violence against her. CBS News correspondent Ben Tracy has the latest.
Listen to my f***ing laughing. Listen to what you do to me.
That is how Mel Gibson began his more than 8-minute-long rant, posted Monday by RadarOnline.com. In it, the actor sounds completely
is not
on the
good.
edge. Sonic 40 police last.
Hitting a woman with a child in her hands. You, what kind of menace? You are hitting a...
Gloria says Gibson punched.
Mel Gibson, Oksana. Let's go on a Howard Stern show. Oh, what's wrong with this program? Good. Again. Howard Stern. Right here.
Yeah. So should I play it? It's a good thing to start the show with, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Man,
Stay on this phone and don't hang up on me. I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand?
remembers me years of Howard Stern. I'm a big fan of Howard Stern show. I was listening for it years and years. Since 2004, I'm a big fan. Howard, he knows.
Yeah. So should I play it? It's a good thing to start the show with, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stay on this phone and don't hang up on me. I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand me? And I will. So just fucking listen to me.
Hold on,
I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand me?
A woman can drive you crazy, dude. It is
Don't hang
true.
up on me. I can play it.
Listen
It's a
to
good
this
thing
shit.
to start the show with, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stay on this phone and don't hang up on me. I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand me? And I will. So just fucking listen to me. Listen to my fucking ranting. Listen to what you do to me.
I didn't do anything to you.
Pain in the ass.
You are ruining my life.
You make my life so fucking difficult.
Well, you know what? It's
To be a woman that fucking supports me instead of a woman that sucks on me. And just fucking sucks me dry. And wants. This relationship, if you're a good woman and you love me, I don't believe you anymore.
what am I? What did you just say?
Bullshit. Has any relationship ever worked with you? No.
Listen to me. You don't love me because somebody who loves does not behave the same.
Oh my god.
Do not. Hang on a second.
Behaving like this because I know
One
absolutely
second.
that you do not love me and you treat
One
me with no
second,
consideration.
please. Can I please wait?
I don't love you anymore.
What am I? What did you just say?
Bullshit. Has any relationship ever worked with you? No.
Listen to me. You don't love me because somebody who loves does not behave this way. I do not. Hang on a second.
Behaving like this because I know
One
absolutely
second.
that you do not love me and you treat me
One
with no
second,
consideration.
please. Can I
I
please
love
see?
you because I treated you with every kindness,
No.
every consideration. You
No.
rejected. You
I'm
will
sorry.
never be happy. Fuck you. Get the fuck away from me. My daughter is important. You have one more chance. And I mean it. Now fucking go if you want. But I will give you one more chance.
That's what happens, man. when you make a child on some bitch, and that's it, man. And then you realize that she's a bitch, and there is no way to return, like Bitcoin right now. I told a friend of mine, just buy, bro, just buy it right now. He bought it at 49,000, and now he dropped $400. So that's how much. Oh, that's not much, just 1%. So yeah, man, it's just you can't come back from that. Once you make the child, you're stuck, bro, and you can get the divorce and the papers, whatever the fuck, but it's gonna cost you. I mean, look how he's breathing. This is for younger people out there who they just got married, or maybe they want to get married right now. They're getting ready, to start a new life. Good luck.
You're so selfish. I didn't do anything. I did not do anything. This is your selfish imagination. That's all.
That's my favorite line. Just smile and blow. Is that possible?
Selfish imagination. I did.
You care about yourself.
You're so selfish.
So fucking good to you. You
I didn't do anything. I did not do anything. This is your selfish imagination. That's all. I didn't do anything. I did not do anything. This is your selfish imagination. That's all.
That's my favorite line. You should just smile and blow me. Is that possible? What happens with a lot of guys, they really get this entitlement. They really do think that they can. There was some psychologist in the newspaper saying, you get this huge.
You're Howard, or whomever is managing this content. Man, I'm just playing the show a little bit just to have, because I have memories, and I'm just like, I was laughing my fucking ass, and I'm laughing today. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and you get this feeling like everyone
Don't you understand? You should be happy to be blowing me.
But there's a certain tone he takes on that is really arrogant. Like just, I know everything. Shut up. I can't take it.
Because she told him he has a selfish imagination.
About him. Wow. Unbelievable. But Whoopi's right. There was no N-word in those couple of sentences. And that certainly proves he's no racist. She's nuts. She's nuts. He's nuts. They're all nuts.
I'm sleeping with a baby. I'm waking up every 2 hours.
Baby.
I fell asleep because I was waiting for you because you weren't ready.
Nuts. They're all nuts.
I'm sleeping with a baby. I'm waking up every 2 hours. I fell asleep because I was waiting for you because you weren't ready to go to jacuzzi as we agreed.
They had to go to the jacuzzi. She's just a fucking bullshit.
You because you weren't ready to go to jacuzzi as we agreed.
The jacuzzi.
I'm sleeping with a baby. I'm waking up.
She's recording him right now. And she's telling him about the jacuzzi.
Every 2 hours. I fell asleep because I was waiting for you because you weren't ready to go to jacuzzi as we agreed.
Oh my god. To go to the damn jacuzzi by yourself.
Jacuzzi, what's that?
How could they be that upset? He could be that
Oh
upset over
my
a jacuzzi. Run.
about
What
a
the
throat.
hell is he doing?
Doesn't he get a ton of pussy? I mean, what does he need her for? What's he obsessing on her for?
For the baby.
People like to have relationships.
he made a baby with her. That's a why.
Yeah, so
You gotta
it's like he yell.
settle on someone.
I didn't do anything. I was just waiting and sleeping.
You have no fucking soul. You fucker. I left my wife because we had no spiritual common ground. You have none. Zero. You won't even fucking try.
He's in a movie right now. Oh my god, throw. Oh. He's in a movie. He's in a movie.
Spiritual common. You have no fucking soul. You can't, motherfucker. I left my wife because we had no spiritual common ground. You and I have none. Zero. You won't even fucking try.
It's great.
What the hell, man?
They say that's from drinking.
Yeah, you know, he says this rant isn't on drinking, this is all drinking. What's wrong with her?
You don't care.
You just enjoy insulting me. That's all.
You really so fucking do because you hurt me so bad.
I didn't do anything.
Okay. So, in a day-by-day basis, they made a baby. Okay, you make a baby with the woman. You found her. You're happy. This make a baby, and he's talking day by day with fuck shit, fucking shit. He's cursing all the time, and now she's recording him. And she's talking nice about jacuzzi and about some bullshit. She changed the dialogue. But he doesn't know, obviously, that he's being recorded. Oh my god.
I did not.
You don't care.
You just enjoy.
Yeah, you know, Whoopi says this rant isn't on
Oh.
drinking, this is all drinking. What's wrong with her?
You don't care. You don't care.
You just enjoy insulting me. That's all.
Fuck you. I so fucking do because you hurt me so bad.
I didn't do anything. I did not do anything, and I apologize for nothing.
You fucking selfish.
I did not do anything, and I apologize for nothing.
Apologize for nothing.
Stop.
You're a cunt.
Stop screaming.
Apologize for a reason.
I wanted to peace. I wanted to have peace
Keep peace.
because you're unbalanced.
Good enough for me, and instinctively I feel that.
Oh.
And I will not be
Unbalanced.
patronized by you
You're
and your fucking
unbalanced.
dishonesty and apologize.
You need medication.
Apologize because you know you're wrong.
You need medication.
So I'll accept. And if you will not fucking admit that, get the fuck out. And I will make your goddamn life miserable. Alright? All I'll be
Unbalanced.
patronized by you
You're
and your fucking
unbalanced.
dishonesty and apologize.
You need medication.
She's patronizing because she's recording.
Apologize because you know you're wrong.
You need medication.
So I'll accept. And if you will not fucking admit that, get the fuck out. And I will make your goddamn life miserable. Alright?
You need medication. You need medication.
I need a woman. Not a fucking little girl with a fucking dysfunctional cunt.
A dysfunctional
I need a fucking woman.
Wow.
I need medication.
I mean, the guy is suffering. You know, you're looking. Oh, it's terrible, man. To go to something like this, it shows you it doesn't matter how much money you have or fame or whatever. You either go through this shit like a fucking idiot, or you learn.
Be a fucking bat in the side of the head. Alright? How about that? You need a fucking doctor. You need a fucking brain transplant. fucking bend over backwards with my balls in a knot.
That's my other favorite line. I bend over backwards with my balls and in a knot. That's gross.
Oh yeah, he's really breaking the bricks out there
Yeah.
now.
Just do it all for her. She gives me shit. Like a fucking sour look. Or says I'm mean. The fuck is that? This is mean. Get it? You get it now? What mean is? Get it? You fucking don't care about me. I'm having a hard time and you fucking yanked the rug, you bitch.
Guy was drinking.
You fucking selfish bitch. Don't you hang up on me.
That's why I don't drink, bro.
I can't listen to this anymore.
You hang up, I'm coming over there.
I'll call the police. I'll call the police.
You fucking cunt. I'm coming to my house. You're in my house.
Yes, but you. Don't call me honey. You just call
You're
me.
in my house.
It's,
I'll call the police and tell them there's someone in my house. How about that?
you can do that. That's fine.
Fuck you. I don't involve the police in anything because I stand up for myself. You weak cunt. You call the fucking cops.
Then I will go to Alessia's right now.
Why don't you fuck off to that cunt bitch Alicia? She was fucking making eyes at me. She'd have sucked me in 5 seconds. Take that one up with her. I was trying to scare your
How the fuck did the Russian chick got him, dude? How did she get him? Man, she must have had a great vagina.
She'd have blown me in 5 seconds. She's not your friend. You don't have any fucking friends except me. And you treat me like shit. So that's why I'm so fucking angry. Because I don't have any friends. And I try and make one for you and you treat me like shit. And you fucking use me. That career is over. And boy, when I said that, you
Fuck.
got out of here faster than I've ever seen you before. And now you'll be at Elisa's place. You just showed me what you are. Absolutely, unequivocally.
I don't care if you want to.
Unequivocally.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Perfect, I believe.
Listen.
He says, hold on, honey.
Listen to me,
Let him finish his lines.
Mel. I don't give a damn if you don't spend another penny on me. I don't care. I am just fearing for the life of my daughter. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen. Because I'm sick.
How did she get to him, man? Oh, wow. How the fuck did she got him? She got him.
Saving my life and I'm saving daughter's life. That's what I'm doing. I don't give a damn about my music and I don't give a damn about you spending another
She wanted to be a musician. Okay, I got it.
penny. I'm saving her life.
She was a singer. That's how she conquested him.
You almost killed us. Did you forget? You're hitting a woman with a child in her hands. You, what kind of man is that? Killed us life. That's what I'm doing. I don't give a damn about my music, and I don't give a damn about you spending another penny. I'm saving her life. You almost killed us. Did you forget? I don't give a damn about you spending another penny. I'm saving her life. You almost killed us. Did you forget? You spending another because I'm saving my life and I'm saving daughter's life. That's what I'm doing.
He's on the
I don't give a damn about my music and I don't give a damn about you
He does.
spending another penny. I'm saving her life. You almost killed us. Did you forget? You were hitting a woman with a child in her hands. You, what kind of man is that? Hitting a woman when she's holding a child in her hand. Breaking her teeth twice in the face. What kind of man is that?
You're all angry now.
You're gonna get to, you know what? You're gonna answer one day, boy. You're gonna answer.
Oh my god.
Bet. Nothing. I'm not the one to threaten.
I'm threatening. I'll put you in a fucking restaurant, you cunt. You understand that? Because I'm capable of it. You understand that? Get a Maybe drunk and disorderly, but hitting you for what?
Oh, man, that's a good tape. It happens.
You know what? The only thing that
Thank you,
even
OJ.
rivals it is that Jack Nicholson rant from Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah.
I guess I had him on my mind. Mel Gibson, man, he was on my mind. Fucking Echo.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff. All you should do is blow me.
Smile.
Smile and blow me. And then I like he's putting down her friend because the friend wants him too. Everybody wants him. The friend would have blown me in 2 minutes.
She's not your friend. You don't have any friends.
You better get a restraining order, call the police. What are you getting a restraining order for?
Listen to you.
Oh
Wow.
shit, man.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Oh my god. Oh, I never seen Larry King. Man, that was a long time fucking ago.
Is Mel Gibson's ex-girlfriend. They have a 1-year-old child together, and they're locked in a bitter legal dispute. Mr. Gibson, by way, has sought a gag order to prevent any involved parties from speaking publicly about the case. The judge rejected.
Just at the dining table in the restaurant.
So he called you,
Yeah, he did.
and you knew he was married, right?
Yes, I did know he's married, but for 9 months,
What difference did it make to
you know, we
her
were just
that he was married? Wow. She broke his marriage. And
writing together. It was kind of, we hardly saw each other. It was kind of like a friendship.
she wanted the cum. She wanted his sperm. You know, that was the... Man, in this life, some people can come after your sperm. This is a case right here. Ah, that was fun. Alright, let's get back to the business. Natalie Brunel, and actually I was listening to this.
2021, that goes out with the broad money supply out into people's pockets. And so it's the lack of that that I think is being more impactful for equity markets and for GDP growth than the Fed's decision of how much asset purchase they're going to do. Now, if they eventually go long enough, eventually they can tighten enough that they actually
Alright, I
start
got
liquidity
with the
issues.
tapering, so we have 3 more months of bull run.
Do you think that there are negative consequences to this down the road, not just in terms of the total debt, but the way I look at it is they're kind of decent, just have to do more stuff.
Accumulation. And now they find themselves where they can't get out of that trap. They've already increased debt so much that they can't really raise interest rates enough before crashing everything. And so now it's kind of like each new Fed chair is kind of just moving chairs in the Titanic a little bit. They're kind of they don't want it to crash under their watch. They're trying to kind of smooth that landing. But that, of course, zombifies the economy, makes it less dynamic, makes it so that we can't get rid of unproductive businesses to reallocate those resources for productive businesses. And so that's the main kind of downside. In addition, you pretty much hurt savers because until this past year we haven't had a much official CPI inflation interest rate than the inflation rate, and especially
Inflation is
they go up as a
20%,
percentage of your
is
net worth.
reported 5%. What this we know. Next.
Have asked
Gold.
me about the gold situation as well as the SDRs. But first I want to talk about gold and where you think it has a place in, number one, people's portfolios, if any, as well as the global monetary system. So if you wouldn't mind.
Palantir loaded up with gold. And that baffles me because that's an intelligence company. They run your data, everything. And maybe they know something. Or it's just a scam.
Expanding on that.
Yeah, so I think gold can replace part of someone's bond portfolio if they don't mind some of the volatility. Basically, it's something that on over the very, very long term, it should underperform equities, but it generally keeps up with T-bills and things like that. And so, particularly in environments of negative real rates, gold becomes arguably more attractive than holding cash and treasuries. And so, in an environment where you have treasury yields higher than the inflation rate, then there's a high opportunity cost for owning gold because gold gives you zero yield, it keeps up with inflation. Whereas treasuries, if you're earning a positive real yield, you can compound. But you're in an environment like now with negative real rates, gold becomes a more attractive placeholder for a portion of a portfolio. I would say part of a bond portfolio, for example. As it relates to global assets, global reserves, the advantage there is it's a non-sovereign currency essentially, and it's kind of inherently inflation adjusting because if you look at gold's global inflation rate, meaning how much is mined per year compared to how much is estimated to exist above ground, it averages about 1.5% per year over the past century. And that fluctuates in a pretty narrow band between about 1% and 2%. So even when we try to mine more, we really can't get it much above 2%. And so you're comparing that inflation rate compared to the money supply growth rate, broad money supply growth rate for all these other currencies, which is often 5, 7, 10, 15% a year.
Yeah.
And so gold has
for diversification, to have 30% in gold is good for safety.
$1 they can own a couple different currencies, and they can also own this neutral.
At this price, it's cheap right now. Ah.
Talk about the IMF SDR becoming the reserve currency, perhaps, or maybe some sort of gold backing behind there, and next new
now. And for people that are not familiar with the history, back in Bretton Woods, 1944, they were discussing two different systems for how they were going to organize the monetary system. The UK proposal was to have something called a bank board, which is basically what the SDR is there. It's not really a choice on our part; it just kind of happens. And of the SDR, then you have the pound, the euro. I think that's the general direction we're going in, is different types of decentralization. We're also seeing ever since around 2008,
not in like an actual utility of using the cryptocurrencies and how beneficial they could be to bearishness based on the price, but price, where the current price is, where the potential future price doesn't seem to be taken into account the technology itself. So it seems to be more so low, but compared to the current monetary system. So first of all, in terms of the price of Bitcoin, price of Ethereum, price of any of these other cryptocurrencies, do you think where we are today in general is due to a lot of the speculation that we're seeing? Do you think that this is because of new money flooding in from the institutional investors? And sort of where do you see the future? Not necessarily trying to. I did have a few people ask scenario. Is that
right? So Bitcoin had it did very well, but you saw things like Dogecoin go vertical, right? So that's where a lot of the retail speculation was. And so ever since we had that big correction, I considered the space to be more reset, especially Bitcoin. And so, I think longer term, some of those alts will underperform when we have a deeper, longer bear market. I don't necessarily think that this current, bull cycle is over. I think we could see higher highs in assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe some of the others into year end or into the first half of 2022, for example. And obviously that's subject to all sorts of macro conditions, liquidity conditions. So that's not a guaranteed. But I consider the current Bitcoin price approximately fair. And the way I arrive at that is just by looking at the long-term adoption curve of some of these long-term price models. I also compare its market capitalization to estimated gold market capitalization, right? Because it's kind of fulfilling a similar niche, not an identical niche, but a similar niche. And so we're seeing how much total addressable market this has compared to existing stores of value that are outside of the financial system. And so the benefit of Bitcoin really is that you basically are, you have the most energy behind it, meaning that it's the most secure blockchain in terms of someone trying to change it. Ironically, these other versions of it, say Bitcoin Cash, you have to wait for more confirmations in order for your transaction to be considered, most likely final and unlikely to be reversed for the block reorganization, because it has a lot less energy in the system, a lot less, mining hash rate that's being directed at it. And so really Bitcoin's kind of approach is mostly deliberate in the sense that the reason it's slow and the reason it's expensive is because they wanted to keep block sizes small so that anyone with like a normal laptop can audit the money supply and validate their own transactions. Whereas if you increase the block size too much, you can increase throughput, you can increase the speed of the system, but then you make that harder to verify your own transactions. You have to rely on a distant server to tell you whether or not the transaction went through, and it starts to approach more like fiat currency. And so Bitcoin makes kind of known trade-offs in order to optimize security over speed. Now there are other developments like Lightning Layer and things like that potentially offer faster payments when you're less inclined towards rock style security and you're fine with a different security model for more speed. So there's kind of trade-off there. We are starting to see use cases in places like there's an article in The Guardian about Nigeria, for example. That's one of the highest places of adoption. They've had high inflation when governments were doing capital controls, and some of those merchants were using Bitcoin to buy services and products internationally. We also saw, for example, when there were protests against the government, a lot of the protest groups had their bank accounts shut down, so they resorted to Bitcoin. It's just kind of that freedom tool that a number of different groups around the world have kind of resorted to. Now, overall, the space, the problem is that anyone can create their own cryptocurrency. So when we see bull markets, all these copycats start to come in, capital gets diffused among tons of different projects. And so that eventually kind of, depletes buyers and eventually causes kind of a blow off top. And eventually you have a longer correction and you sort out which cryptocurrencies are actually providing value and which ones are not. So right now we have 10,000 cryptocurrencies. Most of them probably won't be much of value 5 years from now. A handful probably will be. So I think Bitcoin will be, Ethereum, good chance that it will still be valuable. But the smaller and more fringe you go, the less likely it is that cryptocurrency can be around in an attractive form. And so I think there is a lot of useful technology here. Like you point out, if you're sending an international wire, it can take a long time. It can be expensive. You can have hassles where just the bank says no, or just you lose track of where that money is in the system, and then you're worrying about which bank actually has this. Who do I call? Whereas blockchains can do international settlements depending on which one you're using. Maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, maybe quicker if you're using one of the faster, less secure ones. And so this is really interesting technology, both in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of stable coins, and some of the other things that the system provides.
So the last thing that I wanted to ask you today was surrounding risk. So there's an unlimited amount of different potential risks to the financial system today, to the stock markets, the housing markets, and everything. But where do you think is the most likely or the weakest point of the markets today? Is it something with the commercial mortgage-backed securities, like I've been talking about extensively on the channel? Is it the price of certain tech stocks, like the 2000 type event? Where do you see sort of that biggest risk today?
I think that because the markets are reliant on low interest rates and basically continued support, a lot of these valuations are unsustainable if the Fed tries to taper. The first initial round of tapering shouldn't theoretically affect things too much, but it can psychologically. But the further they get into it and they actually start to withdraw liquidity, these valuations are pretty hard to support. You've also had that feedback loop where, like I mentioned before, the U.S. runs these structural trade deficits in order to support the petrodollar system. And what happens is, those entities get those dollars. They used to buy treasuries, but they don't really buy treasuries that much anymore. Instead, they go in and buy U.S. stocks, they buy U.S. real estate. And so we have this kind of downward pressure. Are still high quality equity, and it's some of the other things that the system provides. Maybe quicker if you're using one of the faster, less can be around in an attractive form. And so I think there is a lot of useful technology here. Like you point out, if you're sending an international wire, it can take a long time. It can be expensive. You can have hassles where just the bank says no, or just you lose track of where that money is in the system.
Yeah. So that was I wanted to listen to that. That was good.
Can you kind of briefly summarize the difference between Austrian economics and Keynesian?
Big tables will find people who make big tables and people who want small tables.
This guy.
Thanks so much for checking out the Coin Stories podcast video page. I'm Natalie Brunell, and I'm talking.
Says I'm predicting this and that. All I'm doing is reading the value 6 to 12 months. So.
What do you mean by last cycle? I mean, that sounds like so doomsday. What does that mean?
Yeah, I know. It's the last of the 4-year cycles. It's the last of if you look at the price chart over the 12 years, we've had 3 prior cycles. And every one of those, it's done a huge run up, it's done a huge pullback, but retained most of its gain from the last cycle. And then it's done it again and again. The last one we went from below 200, or like 150 was the bottom, and it went to $20,000. And then it pulled back from $20,000. Imagine investing $20,000 and then you come back till the end of the year and it's like $3,200. That was the last cycle. That was the last. Now that was the previous cycle, and the ones before that was more carnage. And we waited like a year for that to purge itself. And I'm just saying that kind of experience is likely to not happen again if what I'm seeing plays out. And we just. Yeah, so if we were to look back in 10, 20 years' time and we look at the price chart of Bitcoin, we go, look, there's 3 cycles, whoop, down, and then on the 4th time, it doesn't do that pattern. And it becomes like this drunken wander of price discovery as it finds its fair value as Bitcoin, spreads to 1 billion people or more, which is actually projected to do in the next 4 years. So,
I remember your tweet where you said that back in 1997, you compared Bitcoin to the internet back in 1997, and today it's on track for 1 billion users, right? So it just goes to show that the adoption's even faster than the internet was.
Yeah, it's faster than any other network. It's mobile networks that was faster than the internet, and Bitcoin's rolling out faster than mobile networks. So it's got some pretty interesting consequences, right? In 4 years' time, if 1 billion people are on this network, and this network's growing at the rate of nearly double per year, we're going to see like a fair chunk of the world using this network by the end of the decade. But in 4 years, 1 billion people, you know. So like, it's huge consequences. Like this internet native currency that, you know, nation states don't like because they like to print their own money. It's like this new force that has risen, and it's a challenger to the monetary standard that we have currently. So, like, the current trajectory is saying that there are huge ramifications geopolitically, you know, and it's like 2% of the world is on this network. People will know it, they've heard of it, but maybe only 2.5% of the people. That's the best data we've got around that of the world. It doesn't look like much, but this is all exponential growth. So, I think the Human Genome Project, I don't have the figures on hand, but it was like maybe 10 years to get to 1%. And the following few years, they finished the project because the technology and the growth of them sequencing the genome was going exponentially. So we're at 2.5% of the world population, and it's 12 years old, and that's not halfway. It's in the end game of Bitcoin's growth, because in 4 years, it's 1/8 of the world population. The other 4 years, it's like full saturation.
Got it. So when you mean last cycle, it's almost like you're saying that it won't be as volatile anymore. It's going to, as it continues to become a legitimate asset class and more people adopt it, you mean like last cycle as in it's not going to have these massive corrections. It'll just kind of continue to teeter up and find its fair market value?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the last whipsaw wave, 4-year wave. Yeah, it's a little bit, like I think Dan Howard popularized the term the super cycle, which is we skip a cycle, I guess. Like, there's too much bullish activity that we skip this one, and I'm going one step further, actually. Once we skip the cycle, if we skip the cycle, the fundamental driver of these cycles is so inconsequential in power that there's no more cycles that we've seen, these big super waves. So this is the last super wave, and that super wave is the big one that lasts for a decade and keeps going up to, you know, billions of people using it.
Perfect. Are there any on-chain indicators that institutions have been coming in and they just haven't announced it yet? Because I know there's so many people wondering when are some of these big companies going to put it on their balance sheet the way MicroStrategy did. Are you seeing any indications of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, someone bought a big, I'm just trying to look at my chart, someone bought a big chunk in that lower $30,000 range. It looked like a fair chunk of $1 billion worth, and then someone else did it again. So I think there's a lot of unannounced buys that, and certainly the rumors, rumorville amongst the people in the know, some of the journalists that I've talked to have talked about this, but no, I don't know names. But I've heard there's been, you know, major companies buying. I can see it on chain. Like, there was 2 major buys, probably in the $1 billion class. One was in, you know, one was like 2 months ago when price was about $33,000. And then we had another chunk of buying on, like, you know, about 4 weeks ago as price started to really shoot upwards from that bottom. So yeah, there's been some significant buying, certainly. I'm interested to know who that is. If it's a public company, I have to divulge that. So September will be an interesting time when those third quarter reports come out.
As I start to wrap up here, going back to what we were talking about with the price being so high that it feels like a really big obstacle for a lot of people to get in because it seems really expensive at this point. What would you want to say to everybody? Like, if you could just share with everyone your message about Bitcoin, what would it be?
Okay, so, you know, the sticker price is really the trap for new people. And actually, a lot of the token projects increase their supply design so that it's priced in pennies so people think it's cheap so you can buy. Don't fall for that trap. If you want to look at this logically and rationally, what you want to do is you want to risk reward, right? As an investor, you're looking at how much reward can I get at maximum for the minimum amount of risk. And so you can calculate that. It's called the Sharpe ratio, which is the ratio of the actual returns you can get divided by the risk being how volatile those returns are. And you can run that. And it just turns out Bitcoin over the long run, and I mean, you can't run this across 1 month, right? You got to run this over a long period to get a good thing on it. Bitcoin is the best. It beats Ethereum. It beats any other asset class by a long shot. Stocks, real estate, emerging currencies. So what that means is, if you've got, say you're going to invest 5% of your net worth into Bitcoin. If you're going to do it in Dogecoin and you want to do a rational investment, you're not going to put 5% of your net worth in Dogecoin. You're going to put like a tiny little fraction, because the risk is so high, but the return's high as well. And so like it's kind of this thing where like you can get misled. You have to really calculate the risk out. And Bitcoin's, I've never seen anything that beats Bitcoin over the long term in that lens as an investor. But if you're a trader, that's a different story. And I think that is what people end up doing. They want to trade. But that is another journey. And if you're going to take that journey, don't put too much in, because your goal to trade is to learn as much as you can for the amount of money you're going to lose, because you will lose it. You're trading again.
Yeah. All right, that was a good ending.